Am I the a-hole for not sending my kids to their stepdad's funeral? My male 42 and my ex-wife, female 40, have 2 children. Let's call them Bart, male 15, and Lisa, female 11. My ex-wife married Mo the year after our divorce. We set up a joint custody arrangement where I have the kids for 14 days and she has them for another 14 days. I had never even known Mo beyond being my ex-wife's new husband, but I respect him, and I do not interfere in their relationship at all. Unfortunately, Mo died, and my ex is devastated now. She seems to really like him, and this is a hard time for her. All of this happened while the kids were with me. My ex-wife called me to bring the kids to the funeral, and I said it would be fine, no problem. I told the kids that, and I was surprised when they told me they didn't want to go. Bart even said, "We're glad he died." I was shocked. He never said that about anybody. Lisa also said she didn't want to go, and she just wanted to stay here with me. I asked them many times if they were sure, and they said yes over and over again. So I called my wife and told her that I wouldn't drive them to the funeral. They just didn't want to go. She asked for a moment. Then after a minute, she started screaming softly, like when you want to scream but don't want people around you to hear, and asked me what I meant and to take them there now. I just told her they didn't want to go, and I wasn't going to make them do anything against their will. So she started calling our kids. Bart answered his phone, and he just said, "No, Mom, we don't want to go. Get over it," and hung up. After a while, I hear a loud bang on my door. I open it, and it was my ex-wife. She immediately gets into my house and starts looking around to get Bart and Lisa. My ex asked me where they were, and I just told her in their room. She goes right there to knock on their door and tell them to get ready and to go to the funeral. The 3 of them have a heated argument through the door. She demanded I open the door with my key. I have a key, but I will not open the door if they don't want to. Then she tries to get into my room, finds my bunch of keys, and says, "Which one is it?" I get pretty fed up, so I tell her to leave or I'll call the police. And she yells at me, "I'm their mother. They will come with me." So I yell back, "I'm their father, and we have an agreement. Now leave." She finally leaves, but not before saying that she will take me to court for parental alienation. The kids leave their room about half an hour later, apologizing for all the trouble. My ex-wife then posted a bunch of stories that night about how sad and angry she was, because not only did her husband die, but her ex-husband, me, alienated the kids and didn't even let them say goodbye to their stepfather. Everyone in the family has seen these stories, and now tell me I'm a heartless, vindictive ex who's using the kids to punish my ex at her worst moment. Maybe I should have driven them to the funeral? This situation is just too much. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. I have so many questions. Did you ask the kids why they were glad he was dead? Did you ask the kids why they didn't want to go and support their mother? Did you even frame it to them as, it's not about the stepfather, but about being there for her? You know, because she was in pain and wanted her children there with her? There has to be more to this story. Teenagers are selfish and might have only been thinking of their feelings. So why don't they care about Mom? I vote everyone sucks here until there's more clarity. Did you ask the kids why they were glad he was dead? No, I didn't. That also no to the second question. Putting it that way sounds like I'm a selfish monster, but didn't want to push the topic and upset them. With all due respect, they were already upset. This was a big choice, and saying they were glad he's gone was a big declaration. It needed a follow-up. Not the a-hole. If you care enough, reply with a real story on the posts. I'm sharing what I know. Yes, some details are missing, but those are missing for me too. My children didn't tell me any background, and I didn't push it. I thought it might upset them. And they never said anything negative about their stepdad before. And now suddenly Bart says they're glad he's gone. I did cut something because of character limit, but Mo died after going drinking with some people. They were at a not-so-nice part of our city and decided to go back walking. They were jumped by strangers and Mo didn't make it. So stepdad was unalived in a violent attack, and you didn't talk to them at all about their feelings about that? On top of not asking them about why they were glad he was offed? On top of not asking them why they didn't want to support their mother as she grieves? You need to sit with them ASAP. And therapy might be a good idea. Next story. Am I the a-hole for shouting at my girlfriend for giving away $110 to her coworker? So this happened yesterday, and I am still so angry about it that I am shaking. I recently moved into a condo with my girlfriend, Sam. We are getting by all right, but we are in no way wealthy. Just better off than most. I take care of most of the finances for us because Sam doesn't like to talk about money. Every time I try to bring up our finances, Sam shuts down or she gets easily agitated. She's like this because her family used to fight over money a lot, and she doesn't want that for us. As a result, I have to watch our finances, and it's hard because she doesn't want to communicate this with me. I've been managing our finances, and I've noticed that we haven't been able to save as much as we'd like as we are saving for a trip in Florida. We have an outstanding bill that needs to be paid like the internet, and that will put us back a bit, though not by a heck of a whole lot. Sam invited her coworkers over to our house yesterday while I was out with my family. One of her coworkers, Daniela, was also there. Daniela's boyfriend passed away recently, and she has been struggling to take care of herself and her kids. So Sam decided to give Daniela $110 as she felt bad for her situation. I came home a few hours after everyone left, and Sam told me what she did. Sam thought I would have been very proud of her, but I was furious, and she could see it. I tried very hard not to lose my temper. But then Sam said, it is my money, and it's my money to give. This really set me off. And I said, excuse me? But this is our money. We pulled our expenses together. I don't mind it if you gave her some of our coupons, $20 or some of our gift cards we have, but $110? What the heck is wrong with you? Sam explained that $110 wasn't a lot of money, and that's when I told her that because of her action, we are no longer saving money. She then got mad going into different directions and said things like, money isn't that important. Well, if you only worked in a better job, ask your family for money. Sam left for her parents' place. She's tried calling me a few times this morning, but truthfully, I don't have it in me right now to talk to her without being mad. Am I wrong though? I understand she was trying to do the right thing, but what really upsets me about this is that she didn't even talk to me about this before giving Daniela the $110. It makes me feel like she doesn't see me as a partner. Edit. I realize I didn't add this in and I apologize. The money came from our joint account. Everyone sucks here. You are correct. She does not see you as a partner, and refusing to talk about finances is very unhealthy for a relationship. That said, your reaction has only cemented her reasoning for not discussing finances with you. I don't see this lasting unless you can both pull your heads out of your butts and talk to each other like adults. So a really critical component is off limits because she can't handle it? BS. Do you see how he reacted? He is shaking in anger writing a Reddit post many hours later. I don't blame her for not wanting to talk to him about money. That is an incredible overreaction. Because giving away money you can't afford to is scary. And it shows she has no respect or concept of how the world works and continues to bury her head in the sand whilst giving out free money. It's ludicrous. Depends on your perspective of afford. To Sam, it seems they could afford it because they had at least that much in their account. To Opie, they can't afford it because the amount stopped their savings. The deeper issue for me is that Sam refused to share until now that this is how she views finances because she refuses to talk about it and makes Opie be in charge of all finances. I do agree that since she de facto put Opie in charge, there's really no scenario she should have given away money without conferring with Opie first on if they could afford it. Nah. If she has no idea what they are spending on a monthly basis, then she has no right at all to give away joint money. Nope, never cool. Next story. Am I the a-hole for making my 30 female boyfriend 29 male lose his job? So my boyfriend is super upset with me and I need to make sure I'm not crazy. We worked from home for the same company, but he didn't know how to do the position he had. He faked his resume, and I believed I'd be able to help because it wasn't so bad. It turned out to be way more than what I thought a job would be. I was having to do both his and my job every day, and even though the schedule was 8 to 5, he wouldn't wake up until 10:30 every day, leaving me alone with both jobs and our 2-year-old. I let it be known for weeks that I was really stressed, and this job was killing me. Fast forward to last Monday. For some reason, I had this feeling he was being sneaky, so I looked through his phone. I know it's wrong. But anyway, he was on Tinder and messaging some girls on IG, so I was understandably upset. I chose not to do his job or even log on for him that day. He ended up losing his job and was like, well, you got what you wanted. Now it's your responsibility to pay the bills all in your own salary. Am I the a-hole here? I don't feel wrong in the way I feel, but it's making me feel guilty for basically screwing over our family and being immature. Now for the top comments. Girl, WTF. I'm going to say you're the a-hole, and by that, I don't mean you're an a-hole to him. I mean you created the situation by doing his job in the first place, despite it being against your best interests. You draw the line at cheating, and not at employment fraud? Yeah, there's two conflicts here. One with her and her boyfriend, where she's not the a-hole because he's a deadbeat and a cheater, but she is the a-hole to her employer for swindling them. Employer is irrelevant, given that they'll screw her without a second thought. The important thing is, she's the a-hole to herself. This may fall into actual crime/fraud territory. Even if it doesn't, she's basically given her awful boyfriend a surefire way to get her fired from her job if he gets vindictive. You're the a-hole to yourself. A level of gullibility and manipulation here is amazing. He lied about his qualifications and got you a second job. You're working one job for you and one for him. Then he screams at you for effectively quitting the second job. Given the level of lying and manipulation, why would you be surprised to find that he's also lying about being faithful? Choose a new boyfriend who doesn't lie and who doesn't require you to go along with his lies. She was working 3 with watching their child. She actually has 2 children, the deadbeat she procreated with and their child. Not the a-hole, but if you stay with him, you are the a-hole to yourself and child. Everyone sucks here, but your boyfriend is worse. You both work together to commit fraud against your employer, which is what has created that situation. He cheated on you while leaving you to deal alone with the stress that your joint decision to defraud your employer was causing. So while you maybe should have told him you would no longer be doing the job for him, so he had the opportunity to at least try to keep his job, although I imagine he would have struggled, he is definitely still worse. You should be cautious with your next move though. If he decides he has nothing else to lose and tells your employer what happened, you would probably also lose your job. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not accepting a free vacation to help out my stepdad? When I was younger, I went on an overseas trip with my mom and stepdad to go see a side of the family. Almost as soon as we landed, they started arguing. I was sent outside, and when I came back in, my mom was acting cagey. She told me one of my stepdad's cousin was getting married in 2 days, but not to worry about it. She kept saying that and was acting really strange, so I kept pushing until she explained. Yes, the cousin was getting married, but only symbolically. The cousin's family was desperate and needed a cultural wedding to happen for some reason. He'd already agreed to help out, so she couldn't really say no, but not to worry because it didn't mean anything because it was only symbolic, which is when I figured out how he was helping out. She reassured me that it didn't mean anything and begged me to just be polite. It was just going to be a fun party and good opportunity to learn more about other cultures. That entire day is a blur, but the food was good. We went home fairly early. My mom and I spent the rest of the trip as just us, while my stepdad was with his family. But once we got home, everything was completely normal, and we never really talked about any of that again. Until today. My stepdad called to ask if we, meaning me, my wife, and daughter, would come for a vacation in his home country. He would pay for everything. He was really pushing for it, so I pushed back. And he confessed that along with family time, he also needed me to come along so they could undo the symbolic marriage, so that a cousin could get married to her significant other, because she currently can't because she's considered to be already married to me. I don't see a reason to. It wasn't a legal wedding in the first place. It literally couldn't have been for several reasons, so there shouldn't be anything to undo. He said he was sorry that this happened, but now we can just fix this and never think about it again. I don't really want to go to his country. It's not really safe to go there in the first place. And I don't really like the idea of getting trapped somewhere again where I don't know the language or what's going on. He's telling me that I'm selfish, because while it obviously doesn't affect me, not fixing it does affect the cousin and isn't letting her move on. My mom is pleading with me to go. That is one day out of a vacation that my stepfather is willing to pay for because he feels so terrible about it. My wife, on the other hand, doesn't think I should go because it's not safe, and it's not something that should be my problem anyway. I've asked my father, and he's torn. Obviously, I don't have to go, but if it is that easy, maybe a free vacation isn't a bad idea and I'd be helping someone. But I don't want to. Why do you have to be involved at all? Did they symbolically marry you off without your knowledge? Not the a-hole. Edited to add, wait, you were the one who was married and not your stepfather? OMG, this smells bad to me. Don't do it. Yes, the marriage isn't and never was legal. By the way, Your original post isn't very clear that it was you they symbolically married to the cousin, which is why I think many commenters are confused. I got it because I'm familiar with that culture, but you could probably edit to make that clearer. You said the day was a blur. You might be legally married to her. It wouldn't be recognized here or there from what I know for several reasons. Are you willing to risk your marriage and your independence in what you think you know? Devious people have devious ways. There are far too many unknowns. Not the a-hole. Don't trust your mom and stepdad. They took you to a strange country to marry you off. Don't go there with them. You might not be able to make it back. Or their daughter. Holy smokes. Do not take a female child to whatever foreign family is marrying off children without their consent. Stepdad specifically requested OP bring his daughter. Stepdad made this mess. He can use his American dollars to bribe whatever officials he needs to do fix it. Forge signatures, whatever. Not OP's problem and not worth the risk. We do agree on that. They wouldn't be coming. Don't go. If it's that easy, tell your stepdad to bring your wife to undo the marriage. If it was symbolic, the symbolic divorce can happen in your country. But my guess is it wasn't symbolic.